Welcome to the Heartbreak Chronicles, where every story is a raw reflection of life. Hit that subscribe button to stay tuned, give us a like to show your support, and share this episode with your friends. Don't forget to leave a comment and let us know what you think. Now, let's dive into today's story. Prior to their reunion, Marcus and Lily each experienced a major turnaround in their lives. Lily has been devoted to her career for years, but has never been able to find a true bond in her relationships. Marcus, on the other hand, is in deep grief over the loss of his spouse. These experiences made both men coincidentally begin to re-examine their futures, even though they both felt that it seemed too late to start a new chapter in their lives. The two families have been friends for generations. Lily has always been a quiet admirer of Marcus, and after her sister passed away, she began to be around him more. The emotional support they shared gradually evolved into a deeper connection that neither of them expected. Both felt the connection was unique and gratifying. As they drove to Marcus' house, their minds kept going back to the changes in their relationship with each other. Going back to the old days was no longer possible, and neither of them wanted it. While Lily is eager to move on, Marcus seems more hesitant, even though he's equally committed. The only outstanding question now is when they will reveal this new relationship to others. "Come on in," Marcus said, pulling into the driveway. "The kids aren't home so we can relax and talk." Just then, a voice interrupted them. "I'm Officer James Peterson, and this is Officer Sarah Chun. We are here to discuss the disappearance of your wife on April 23rd. Lily saw that Marcus had something to take care of and left first. Marcus replied, "I thought I had explained everything to the police." "There have been some new developments since then," Peterson responded. "Like what?" Marcus asked. "Can you describe your relationship with your wife, Mr. Lynch?" Peterson continued to ask. "It's great. We've been married for 18 years and there's nothing wrong with it. At least until that accident," Marcus said firmly. "No marital problems?" "Absolutely nothing," Marcus replied. "What the hell is going on here?" Officer Peterson asked, "Do you know a man named Brandon Collins?" "Am I supposed to know him?" "He's a senior accountant in your wife's company." "I'm sure I don't know him," Marcus said. "I don't know her work colleagues. She reports directly to Marcel Lapierre, not Collins." "It was a pure work environment. What's going on?" Peterson leaned back in his chair, still watching Marcus. "We've received an anonymous tip suggesting that your wife is having an affair with Mr. Collins. You really don't know anything about it?" Marcus is clearly in shock. "I don't believe it. What does this have to do with her disappearance?" Peterson continued, "We interviewed people at her company. Several people have suspected some unusual relationship between Collins and your wife. It's logical that they shouldn't have crossed paths in the first place, but rumors have been circulating." Marcus accused them of relying on rumors, but Peterson continued the pressure. "We also interviewed Mr. Collins. Under some pressure, he admitted that they did have an inappropriate relationship." Marcus looked shocked. "I haven't the slightest idea. Why would she do that?" Peterson stays silent and lets Marcus digest the information. Finally, Marcus asked, "Why are the police involved?" "It's possible that this is a suspicious death," Officer Chen said. "Perhaps you found out about the affair and acted out in anger." "This is ridiculous," Marcus replied angrily. "I didn't know about the affair and I'm not a murderer." "Many husbands say this," Chen commented, "and sometimes anger leads to irreversible consequences." "So I'm a suspect now?" Marcus asked, his tone defensive. "Not at this time," Peterson replied calmly. "We just want to fact-check again for our own records, which is separate from the previous report." Marcus Lynch sat in silence, visibly uncomfortable, while the detectives watched him. "All right, I'll say it again," he said, "but from now on, if you want to talk, my lawyer must be present." "Got it." "No problem," Chen replied. Marcus began the narrative. "We competed in the Southern Straits race, as we have been doing for the past 6 years. The weather forecast said it would be a bit bumpy, but no one expected it to turn out that way. My boat has radar and GPS, and both Vanessa and I have a lot of experience, so I wasn't worried. We took turns at the helm and I was on duty from midnight to 4 a.m. While Vanessa sleeps, I drink coffee and energy bars to stay awake." Marcus went on to describe the events of that night in detail, including the time he had to leave the deck due to sudden abdominal pains and his return to find Vanessa missing. His account is full of detail and emotion, showing how deeply this memory has affected him. As Marcus recounts the story, Lily listens quietly, her eyes filled with sympathy and concern. Although a new relationship is budding between her and Marcus, she knows deep down that Marcus is still experiencing great pain and conflict within himself. As Marcus concluded his narrative, the officers remained silent, scrutinizing his reaction. There's more to this case than meets the eye, and both Marcus and Lily realize that their relationship may be even more confusing with these new revelations. It was late at night, and after the officers left, Marcus and Lily sat in the living room, deep in thought. They both know that there is a long road ahead, and this is just the first of many challenges they must face together. 3 months have passed, and Marcus' life has been in turmoil since he lost Vanessa. Initially deeply saddened, the revelation came as a new shock a month ago when he learned that his wife was having an affair with a co-worker named Collins. Marcus understands why the police are suspicious of him. If he knew about it, he does have a motive. The discovery shifted his attention from mourning to dealing with the various repercussions that followed. Vanessa's grieving parents, especially her mother, seem to blame Marcus for everything and begin to distance themselves from him. The only real support Marcus gets is from Vanessa's sister Lily. Lily, who once had a crush on Marcus when she was a teenager, has grown into a successful and independent woman who runs her own interior design company. Marcus' mother is also heartbroken by Vanessa's passing, but she accepts it as a tragic accident. Having lost Marcus' father, she devoted all her energy to supporting Marcus and her grandchildren. Twins Vernon and Tony dealt with the loss of their mother better than Marcus. Vernon is focused on earning an academic scholarship, while Tony plans to join the family business. Marcus hasn't told them about his mother's affair or mentioned the police inquiries. After a small memorial service, a monument was placed in a park near Vanessa's parents' home. Her father appreciates the gesture, but her mother remains cold to Marcus, showing affection only for her grandchildren. Lily often visits Marcus on weekends to encourage him to get back on the water, but he hasn't touched his sailboat, Mrs. Lynch, since the accident. When he proposes to sell the boat, Lily and the children object, so it remains moored and unused. Marcus finds solace in his work. His company, Lynch Plastics, specializes in pet containers for industries such as pharmaceuticals and cosmetics. His father had transformed the company from a crowded beverage market, and Marcus continued his father's strategy to make the company thrive. He worked closely with college friend Brian Edgar, who is now the company's sales manager. They agree on the direction of the company and are great friends in private. While Marcus has yet to return to his sailboat, he still finds refuge at the yacht club, especially in the restaurant and bar. His father had been the club's president and Marcus was expected to take over, but Vanessa's passing delayed that plan. Nonetheless, he still enjoys spending time at the club and often brings his sons here for dinner. On a Friday night in July, after a long week at work, Marcus arrived at the club. He invited his 2 sons, but Tony had other plans, so only Vernon came, and he brought Lily. "Hi, Dad. I hope you don't mind Aunt Lily coming with me since Tony couldn't make it," Vernon said. "Vernon, can you stop calling me Aunt Lily? It makes me feel old," Lily complained. "Vernon, honor your aunt's wishes," Marcus replied. "So should I just call her Lily?" Vernon asked. "Sure, or call her baby, or Little Miss Pretty," Marcus joked, causing everyone a laugh. It was the first time in months that Marcus could remember laughing so hard. "Don't you dare, Vernon," Lily laughed and nudged Vernon. "You can call me Lily, or in a formal setting, Miss Fairley." Vernon shrugged and grinned at his father as all 3 enjoyed the rare moment of relief. There have been so few moments like this in recent months. Friday night, the restaurant had seafood night, and everyone ordered a different dish. The food was delicious as always. The atmosphere stayed relaxed until the dessert cart was wheeled around. Lily and Marcus both politely decline, but Vernon opts for a giant slice of New York cheesecake. The waiter quickly brought 3 forks, obviously anticipating that they would share together. "I really should eat here less often," Marcus joked, leaning back in his chair. "I'm going to be over 300 pounds soon if I keep this up." "Nonsense," Lily replied. "You look as great as ever, just like you did when you were dating my sister." "Oh, Looks like someone's got a thing for Dad, Vernon teased. Careful, Marcus warned. This is a family conversation, not one of your teenage chats. Relax, Marcus, Lily said. Vernon didn't mean to offend, did he, Vernon? Yeah, sorry, Dad, Vernon said, looking a little worried. I'm not angry, Marcus said softly, glancing at Lily. But there are certain topics that are not appropriate for public or private discussion. Spoil sport, Lily said with a laugh. Don't bring my son down, Marcus chuckled. I'm trying to raise him to be a gentleman. Good luck, Lily laughed, and Vernon followed suit. When the coffee came up, Vernon asked, Dad, can you take Lily home? I have an appointment in half an hour. Sure, Marcus replied. Have fun. After Vernon left, Lily turned to Marcus. You've educated two wonderful children, Marcus. You must be very proud? Yes, but to Vanessa's credit, Marcus said, she gave them good guidance. They'll be leaving the house soon. What are you going to do then? Lily asked. I don't know. Maybe downsize the house, or live on the Mrs. Lynch, Marcus said. You haven't been on the boat since the accident, have you? Yes, I can't really bring myself to do that. The kids will enjoy sailing with you, and so will I. I like that ship as much as you do. I don't want to go alone, Lily. I'm not ready. You don't need to be alone. I can crew with you. I'm familiar with that ship. Maybe I should go check on the ship, Marcus mused. It's been sitting there for months. That's the Marcus I know, Lily said with a smile. Why don't you check it out tonight? If all goes well, we can plan a weekend sail. Marcus hesitated, wondering how the conversation had gotten to this point so quickly. Can I trust you to behave? He asked with a smile. Of course, she replied with a smile. Vernon's right. I've had a crush on you since I was 14. I know, but I've never taken advantage of it. After that, I got married. I take my marriage vows seriously. I can see that, Lily said softly, looking down at her cup. Marcus broke the silence. Let's go check out the ship. Okay, let's go. They walk towards the dock and Marcus opens the gate for Lily. It was no accident that she brushed against him gently as she passed. Marcus watched her walk towards the Mrs. Lynch. Lily never married and always said she hadn't found the right person. Vanessa often joked that she wasn't even looking seriously. Lily started her own business at the age of 27 and by the age of 33 had built a successful interior design company. Vanessa has always been slim and tall, always well-dressed but not overly flamboyant. She was an accountant but stayed home to take care of her children after the twins were born. When the kids were 13, she went back to work for her old company and seemed content. She doesn't socialize much at work, which suits her introverted personality. Marcus is always careful to introduce new people to her before they become close friends. Lily is very different from her sister in many ways. She is shorter but fuller in stature and has a lively personality. Marcus often found her attractive and sometimes even wished Vanessa had her energy. Despite these thoughts, he has been content in his marriage. Now 40, he feels he is too young to give up on life. If he were looking for a new partner, he would choose very carefully. Marcus is a handsome man, 6 feet tall, dark brown hair, medium build, and tanned from years of sailing. He works out regularly, and his natural smile and dark brown eyes make him stand out. Many women envy Vanessa for having such a successful and gracious husband. Marcus did a quick check of the Mrs. Lynch and found everything to be in order. The maintenance team has emptied the fresh water tanks and the fuel is almost full. The battery and system were running fine, and he left instructions to refill the tank the next morning. He just needs to buy some food and drinks that night. That night, Marcus lay in bed, staring up at the ceiling. He pondered about Lily. The thought of dating my late wife's sister feels a little strange, even though it's not illegal. She has indeed grown from the awkward young girl she was back then to a mature woman. The idea didn't bother him, though. Lily often goes on weekend sailing trips with her family, so it felt natural to take her out on the water. He left a note for Vernon and Tony inviting them to join him on the boat for the weekend and packed a duffel bag. Despite some initial reluctance, he was now beginning to look forward to getting back on the water. The next morning, Marcus is awakened by the sudden ringing of the doorbell, and the time is just shy of 7 a.m. Reluctantly, he got out of bed, pulled on his jeans, and opened the door to find Lily ready to sail, an excited smile on her face. "What are you doing here so early?" Marcus complained. "The sun is out, let's go," Lily said cheerfully. "Come in. I have to get ready. Go make some coffee." "Okay. Don't forget your overnight bag." "I'm already packed," Marcus replied. 15 minutes later, Marcus finished his shower, got dressed, and came downstairs with his duffel bag. The kids aren't awake yet, probably because they played so late last night. Lily picked up the note Marcus had left for the kids and said with a mischievous grin, "Looks like it's just you and me this weekend." Marcus smiled slightly. "We still need to get some groceries." "No, I was ready last night," Lily said proudly. "Very good. Is it high tide time?" "Pretty much," she replied, which meant they could easily leave the dock. Lily drove them to the yacht club, chatting along the way while Marcus sipped his coffee. They carried their supplies and luggage to the boat, and in the cool morning light Lily skillfully unhooked the cable while Marcus carefully maneuvered the boat out of the dock with the bow thruster. The diesel engine roared to life as they headed for the open waters of the Strait of Georgia. There was little wind, but they had no specific destination in mind. Marcus kept the engine running while looking for a possible breeze. "Where do you want to go?" Marcus asked as they both stood together in the cockpit. "Somewhere sunny, warm and private," Lily replied. Looking at him with satisfaction, Marcus laughed. He understood exactly what Lily was trying to do. For years, he's known about Lily's attraction to him. When she was 14 and he was 21, things were still a little awkward. Later, as she grew into an attractive woman, he sometimes avoided being alone with her. But Vanessa always laughed it off. Now that they are both single, things seem different. After Vanessa's death, Lily began visiting regularly, taking care of the children and handling the household chores, all while managing her own business. Marcus doesn't mind. Lily's positive energy is a balm for him after all this. He often allowed himself to reminisce about the past only when he was privately alone, especially in the dead of night. It felt strange to sleep alone, especially after Vanessa's scent disappeared from the sheets. They were rarely apart and often traveled together to trade shows in places like Chicago or Dusseldorf. His thoughts went back to the detectives. He still has trouble accepting that Vanessa cheated on him, but the evidence is overwhelming. The others knew and talked about it, and he had no choice but to accept it. "What are you thinking about?" Lily asked, interrupting his thoughts. "Just reminiscing about the past," Marcus lied. "Marcus, it's time for you to stop grieving. Your sons and even my parents have accepted the reality. You have many years to live happily ever after, if you want to," Lily said gently. He nodded. "I guess you're right. Is that what this weekend is all about?" "That's right. You're young, and what happened wasn't your fault. It's time to move on, and you know I'll always be here to help you." Marcus laughed. "You've been a great support. I don't know if I've said it before, but having you around has really helped." She smiled back and gave him a hug. "Where are we going?" she asked. "I'm thinking maybe go to Satana Island, maybe anchor in Winter Cove." "Great," she said enthusiastically. "Okay, you take the helm. I'll get some coffee and Danish pastry." As Marcus made his way down to the cabin, he noticed that the wind was finally starting to pick up. When they finished their snacks, they can set sail. His father bought the Mrs. Lynch from a divorcing business partner in a business deal and refurbished it to modern standards. The boat has seen many a family weekend of fun and proved its worth on the stormy night Vanessa disappeared. Marcus can't help but wonder if he could have saved Vanessa if he had done something differently. But then he thought about the affair. Confusion and remorse weighed on him. He returned to the cockpit and brought coffee and Danish pastry. They ate in silence, enjoying the view as they sailed westward into the Strait of Georgia. Later they turned south and sailed to the Gulf Islands. The water was calm, but they still kept a close eye on the ferry traffic. After snacking, they hoisted the sails. Marcus and Lily worked well together, and the winches made hoisting the foresail and mainsail easy. The Mrs. Lynch was not built for speed, but she was a comfortable cruising boat that suited them perfectly. The wind was still light, but they moved along smoothly under the sailboat's propulsion, gliding through the slight waves. In the bright sunshine, they all put on sunglasses and sunscreen. Lily took the helm confidently, as she had done so many times before. She often sailed with her family, and Marcus always appreciated her help on deck and in the kitchen. By late afternoon, they arrived at Winter Cove on Satuna Island. Their favorite anchorage is empty. Marcus carefully guided the Mrs. Lynch into position while Lily followed his instructions for handling the anchor. The bay was sheltered from the wind, and they settled down comfortably for the night. When Marcus was sure the anchor was secured, he signaled Lily to turn off the engine. The sudden silence is always impressive. There is no traffic noise, no airplanes, and even the sounds of the jet skis have disappeared, leaving them to wallow in quiet solitude. "What's for dinner, Connie?" asked Marcus. "Pork and beans, served on a paper plate," she joked, her expression serious. "You liar," Marcus laughed. "What the hell did you bring?" "A variety of cold cuts, cheeses, cold salads, fresh rolls, and lemon tarts." "Sounds healthy," Marcus grunted. "What about the wine? Do you still have that bottle of Spanish red wine? Castillo something?" "That's right. Would you like an aperitif?" "I just opened the bottle." "Yeah, I'll prepare dinner while you set the table," Lily offered. They set up a table in the back of the cockpit and enjoyed the last of the sunshine. Marcus pulls the aperitif from the cooler and opens the Spanish red wine to let it wake up. They clinked their glasses in silent salute. The food was much more substantial than Lily had described, and there was enough left over to save for the next day. "I'm glad you decided to do it, Marcus," Lily said. "Going sailing?" "Yes, and an invitation to come along." Marcus joked. "Wasn't it your idea? Would you have come without me?" she asked. After a pause, Marcus admitted, "No, probably not." "Any regrets?" she asked. He laughed. "No." They ate quietly, enjoying the wine and the peaceful surroundings. After a moment, Lily spoke again. "Marcus, do you know the 5 stages of grief?" Marcus looked at her in surprise. "Yeah, probably knew that. Denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and acceptance, right?" "That's right. What stage do you think you're at right now?" "I haven't thought much about it. Vanessa is gone. There's no denying that. I also experienced anger and blamed myself. Depression did hit me, but I think I'm slowly coming out of it. However, the pain remains." "So are you close to the acceptance stage?" she asked. "It's more complicated than that," Marcus replied, his tone heavy with deep meaning. Lily's expression changed from confusion to dawning realization. "She cheated, didn't she?" she asked angrily. Marcus was surprised that she guessed the truth so quickly. He nodded, but didn't speak. "That selfish, stupid woman," Lily said angrily. "How did you find out?" "I don't want this to get out and tell the family. It would hurt too many people." "I agree. It would break my parents' and your children's hearts." "Marcus, she's gone. What's the point of talking about it?" Marcus hesitated, then explained. "The police called me in for questioning about the accident. At first it seemed routine, but then they asked about a senior manager in Vanessa's company. I don't know him, but they implied there was an affair. Eventually the guy confessed, and it's been going on for months." Lily was shocked. "How could she do this to you?" Marcus shook his head. "I don't know anything about it. The police even wondered if I knew about it, and then did something about it." Lily sat in silence, digesting the information. After a long time, she asked, "Is that why it's been so hard for you to let go?" Marcus nodded. "Yes, and not only because of the loss, but I can't understand why she would betray me, the children, all of us." Lily sighed. "My sister has always been selfish. We didn't get along well growing up. Maybe she hates me because I'm a little sister who was born unexpectedly and gets a lot of attention. But when you showed up, I could tell she was counting. You're a good match, handsome, intelligent, and destined to inherit your father's business. She knows exactly what she's doing." Marcus listened quietly as Lily spoke, a hint of dark humor in her voice, recalling the history they shared with Vanessa. Marcus chuckled softly, knowing that Lily wasn't revealing any new information about her feelings for him. "I was powerless then," Lily says, "too young, too clumsy. But you were always nice to me. You're my Prince Charming, even though I know I'll end up losing you to my sister. I often cried myself to sleep wishing I was older and prettier. Once I grew up, she stopped giving me a hard time because she had gotten what you and she wanted out of life." "You were never ugly," Marcus protested. "You just grew. By the time you were 16, You were beautiful, and you're getting more beautiful now. I'm surprised no one has taken you." Lily looked at him seriously. "You don't understand. I've been waiting for you. Every man I've ever dated has been compared to you, and none of them compare to you." Marcus leaned back in surprise and sighed. "You waited 20 years for my sister to screw up?" She nodded. "I know it's stupid. Vanessa has you, and everything she wants. You gave her everything. New cars, vacations, a big house, and she took you for granted. I thought I was just giving her what she deserved because she was a good wife and a good mother," Marcus admitted. "And there was no indication that she was unhappy or cheating." "She's selfish," Lily said, "partly because I'm jealous that she has you. But now it's mostly anger, knowing how she betrayed you." "And now she's gone," Marcus said. Lily nodded. "Yes, she's gone. And I'm still here, not knowing what to do." Marcus sighed. "It's too early for me to think about the future. I am indeed attracted to you, but it bothers me that all my beliefs about marriage are crumbling. I may need psychotherapy to sort out these issues." "Psychotherapy? Really?" Lily asked in surprise. "Maybe. I needed to find myself again. For the kids, for the company, and for myself." Lily hugged him tightly. "I'm sorry, Marcus. I didn't mean to dump all that on you. I have absolutely no idea what my sister did. I'll give you space. I've waited this long. I can wait a little longer." Marcus hugged her tightly, unsure of his feelings. Is it love or just confusion? He needed to find out before he could make any decisions. They finished their drinks in silence, sitting a little apart, but not detached. Stars begin to appear, and Marcus finds himself contemplating the satellites that orbit the sky, forever watching from afar. The tranquility of the bay is broken only by the occasional airplane flying over Vancouver. As night fell, they closed the cockpit and returned to the ship. Marcus slept in the front master cabin, while Lily chose a stateroom in the back. The boat can accommodate 7 people, although it has rarely been full in recent years. It's usually just Marcus, Vanessa, the kids, and sometimes Lily. Marcus woke up early on Sunday morning, and the sun was already shining into the cabin. Knowing he wouldn't be able to sleep again, he grabbed some clean clothes and headed to the forward cabin bathroom for a quick shower and shave. When he came out, Lily was already in the kitchen, wearing a translucent robe and making coffee. "Good morning," he greeted her with a smile. "Hey, did you sleep well?" "Well, what about you?" "It wasn't bad, but we did talk about some heavy topics last night," she admitted. "I didn't want to burden you with those things." "No, I'm glad you told me. That's something I need to know." Marcus noticed that her sheer robe clearly outlined her figure, and he felt a familiar attraction. Although he had seen her in a bikini before, things felt different now. With Vanessa gone, he found his inhibitions weakening. He poured himself a bowl of cereal, knowing Lily wouldn't want a hearty breakfast. She quickly disappears into the bathroom while Marcus eats his breakfast and contemplates how much his life has changed. Grief has been replaced by a sense of freedom, especially after learning that Vanessa cheated on him. For the first time, he realizes that he is now free to pursue other women, like Lily. When Lily returned, she was wearing tight shorts and a tank top, and Marcus jokingly asked, "Are you sure you won't get cold in that little?" "I'll add another shirt if I need to," she teased. "Besides, it's a lot easier to get out of a shirt than it is to put it on." As they prepared to weigh anchor, Marcus reflected on how his attitude had changed over the past month. Vanessa's betrayal breaks his emotional bonds, but he still wonders how long he should wait to start over. Was he worried about what Lily's parents, his mother, or even the police would think? Or is it time to focus on your own happiness? They sailed out of the bay and through Active Pass into the Strait of Georgia, enjoying a calm morning. There weren't many ships on the sea yet, and it was very peaceful. Despite the light winds, Marcus and Lily decided to raise the sails in the hope that the wind would pick up later. "Can you take tomorrow off?" Marcus asked. "It's fine, especially since I brought my cell phone. I was thinking about skipping a class." "Good idea. I'll also inform the office that I'm not going. We could find a place to stay and have a nice dinner. How about Nanaimo?" Lily suggested. "Great. There's a great bar near the harbor." "Then I won't have to dress too formally," she said with a smile. "You look good in anything," Marcus replied. "Oh, thank you," she said. So, Mr. Lynch, what are you talking about? I'm saying you're stunning and any man would dream of being with you. Are you saying you're not interested in me? Or are you not a normal man? She joked. You know that's not true, he said with a smile. So what do you find unattractive about me? She asked, half jokingly, half seriously. Lily, how did I get into this conversation? Marcus frowned, but still wore a smile. Well, Marcus, she said, her tone becoming serious, I've been patient, but now I'm going to insist. You no longer have a reason to refuse me. Marcus eyed Lily carefully, sensing both seriousness and flirtation in her words. She seemed mostly serious, with just a hint of a joking tone. She'd spread her heart out on the table, and now it was his turn to decide whether or not to accept it, and he knew it would change everything. Are we rushing things? He asked after a long silence. No, Lily said firmly. We don't need to announce our relationship to everyone. Marcus, I've been waiting 20 years. I'm 33 and my biological clock is ticking. I want you. I want to have a child with you. Can I make it any clearer? Marcus was shocked by her bluntness. He had never heard her express her desires in this way, especially declaring a desire to have a child with him. He wasn't sure how to respond. You've made it clear, he said. What do you expect me to say? You should have told me you had feelings for me too for 15 years and couldn't wait to take me to bed, she joked, her sense of humor returning. Oh, is that all? Marcus replied. That's all. She grinned. Marcus turned to look at the distant horizon, trying to comprehend her bold confession. Finally, he looked back at her. So, how does a person fuck someone's brains out? He asked, breaking the tension. Lily burst out laughing, releasing all the tension that had just built up. She walked over to him, wrapped her arms around his neck, and kissed him deeply. I'll show you if you let me, she whispered. I look forward to it, Marcus said, kissing her again. Are you serious? She asked, still a little unsure. Are you taking back your offer? He asked jokingly. Never. You're mine now, Marcus Lynch, and I'm not letting go. Marcus took her word for it completely. What are you thinking about now? She asked. I was wondering how you could be so sure. I don't want to disappoint you. Vanessa used to brag about you when she was drunk, Lily said with a wry smile. Marcus's mood suddenly changed, and Lily noticed it immediately. Are you embarrassed by what she might say? Yeah, I didn't think she'd share those things, Marcus admitted. She's more likely to tell me than anyone else, Lily reassured him. But let's not dwell on it. She's gone and I'm here. I want to help you forget the bad things and focus on the good. I guess that's all I could hope for, Marcus said. I'll show you how good life can be, she said with a smile. Marcus smiled and kissed her again. He knows it will take time to recover and time to move on, but Lily promises to help him through it. They had a wonderful afternoon sailing all the way to Nanaimo Harbor. By the time they arrive, Marcus has already mentally accepted the idea of starting a new life with Lily. They chatted about lighter topics, but Marcus knew there was a lot more to learn about the woman who wanted so strongly to be a part of his future. Later, as they walk hand in hand from the bar back to the boat, Marcus can't shake the lingering doubts inside him. You're quiet, Lily said. Are you reconsidering? Maybe, Marcus admitted. I feel guilty, like I'm betraying Vanessa. I know it's ridiculous, but this feeling has been bothering me. Lily stopped and looked at him with genuine sadness. I'm not going to force you to do anything you're not ready for. I know what I want, but not at any cost. I'll give you time to decide if you're ready. Marcus smiled and said, Thank you. You are special and I do love you. I'm just not sure what kind of love that is. Lily smiled back, becoming patient once again. She knew that when the time came, she wanted the relationship to last. They boarded the ship and made their way to the lounge. Marcus poured each of them a brandy and turned on the TV. They sat in silence, watching a PBS special on rock stars, using it as a distraction until bedtime. Marcus kisses Lily goodnight and heads to the forward cabin. Lily sat for a moment, contemplating how close she'd come to convincing Marcus to make a commitment, but he still hadn't. She knew better than to press further tonight. It could ruin everything. However, she couldn't help but wonder how much longer she could wait. If Marcus isn't going to be a part of her life, she needs to move on. Meanwhile, Marcus lies in bed, thinking back on their conversation. Is he hesitating out of fear? He's torn between the desire Connie brings and what that means. Vanessa's infidelity still haunts him, and though he tries to see her as unfaithful, it brings him no relief. The image of their once perfect marriage seems to be in tatters. After a few hours in bed, Marcus got up. He noticed the lights were off and the door to Lily's room was closed. He grabbed a beer and plugged his headphones into the stereo, letting the soft music soothe him. Eventually, he drifted off to sleep, but his dreams were unusually vivid. Lily was crying, Vanessa's breath loomed large, and a soft kiss jolted him awake. When he opened his eyes, Lily was kneeling in front of him smiling. It turned out to be her kisses and her breath. He rubbed his eyes and took off his headphones. "I must have fallen asleep," he grunted. Lily grinned and held up the half-empty beer. "Drinking myself to sleep? What time is it?" he asked. "About 2 a.m. Can't you sleep either?" Marcus shook his head. "No way. What about you?" "You move a lot when you dream," she said, "and talk in your sleep." "Vanessa never mentioned it," Marcus replied. Lily leaned closer. "In my dreams, you were crying." Marcus blurted out, "I'm not crying." "I know," Lily soothed. "It must have been in a dream." Marcus hesitated, then admitted, "In the dream, I didn't want to hurt you." Still kneeling, Lily placed her hands on his thighs and looked up at him. "You care about me, don't you?" she asked softly. "You know I care," he said. "I'm just trying to figure out if it's more than friendship." After a long silence, Marcus looked her in the eyes. "Lily, will you stay with me tonight?" She nodded and helped him to his feet, leading him towards his cabin, knowing that this was the moment she had been waiting for. The next morning, Marcus wakes up and feels Lily's body against his. He glanced at the clock. It was already past 8 in the morning. His thoughts went back to last night and the dream. What does it all mean? He wasn't sure, but one thing was clear. He'd made love to Lily, and it had felt right. Lily stirred and smiled. "You're awake." Marcus nodded. "I was thinking about last night. I hope it's perfect for you." "Indeed," he said, yawning softly. "I've never felt better." Marcus laughed. "I don't want this to be a one-time thing." "I can't do it." Lily grinned. "Did you really think I'd settle for just one night?" Marcus sighed. "I don't know. My brain is a mess." She wrapped her arms around him and pulled him closer. "I'm going to make it all better, Marcus. I promise." He hugged her tightly. "I believe you, Lily. I really believe that." Lily stood behind Marcus, her arms wrapped around his waist as he steered the Lady Lynch towards House Sound. The wind had shifted to the west, speeding up their voyage. It was a quiet Monday morning with few boats on the water. Most people don't have the luxury of skipping work on a weekday. As Lily thought back to this past night and morning, she marveled at the changes in their relationship. What started out as an accident has morphed into true love, far beyond her expectations. Making love to Marcus is perfect, confirming that he's everything she's dreamed of for years. Being with him now feels like a dream come true. They arrived at Fisherman's Cove at half-tide, which made mooring much easier. Lily quickly tied up the boat, and they silently loaded their bags onto the cart and headed for the parking lot. The ride back to Marcus' house was quiet, both of them lost in thought about how much had changed. Their relationship is completely different now, and there's no turning back. Even though it's a big step, none of them want to go back to the way things were. When they arrive at Marcus' house, he invites her in, knowing that the kids won't be home. Inside, the housekeeper, Mrs. Calderon, greeted them warmly, surprised at their early return. Marcus and Lily took their wine glasses out onto the patio where they could talk privately. After hesitating for a moment, Marcus finally asked, "So, what's next? Is it too soon to tell the kids or our parents?" Lily thought for a moment. "Maybe. I don't think there's any rush to tell anyone just yet. We're still getting used to the relationship ourselves. There's a lot more we don't know about each other." Marcus laughed. "Didn't you say before that you were going full speed ahead?" She laughed softly. "I'm not backtracking. I've waited too long for this moment. I just don't want to hurt anyone, especially our parents. They might think we're moving too fast." "Where are the kids?" Marcus asked. "I think they may have guessed something." I'm comfortable with them, and I think they're comfortable with me. Marcus looked at her thoughtfully. After a pause, Lily reached for his hand and squeezed it gently for comfort. But they remained silent. Meanwhile, Mrs. Calderon watched them from the kitchen window, a smile on her face. By the end of the afternoon, they agreed to keep their relationship private for the time being, though Marcus doubted they could keep the secret for 3 months. They are willing to try it for a while. Everything is going well. August was hot and dry, and Marcus and Lily spent every weekend sailing on the Mrs. Lynch. The boys weren't interested and could always find a reason not to attend, which gave Marcus and Lily the privacy they enjoyed. When the boys started school, not much changed for Marcus. He was glad they would be home most nights. The chaos following Vanessa's death enveloped the months from April through June. Over the summer, Vernon balances studying for scholarship exams and dating his girlfriend while Tony works in the quality assurance department at Lynch Plastics. Marcus is busy with his own work, but thinks of Lily every day and eagerly looks forward to their weekends together. More and more certain of his love for her, his thoughts of Vanessa faded and the dreams about her ceased. Lily replaces those memories, and he realizes that he rarely thinks of Vanessa anymore. But on September 1st, Marcus received a call from the family's attorney, Malachi Wise. "Hello, Marcus. It's been a while. How are you?" Malachi asked. "I'm fine. What can I do for you?" Marcus replied. "I wanted to ask why you haven't come to discuss Vanessa's will. I probably should have called sooner, but there didn't seem to be any urgency." "Her will? I didn't even think of that. She hasn't been officially declared dead, just missing and presumed drowned." "True, but we can still view the will. We just can't execute it for now. Let's set a time to go through it while we deal with some of the remaining issues in her estate." "Okay. Is Friday before noon okay?" Marcus agreed. On Friday, Marcus came to Malachi's office and they went to lunch together. During the meal, they chatted about recent events. Marcus shares how he spent time with Lily and how she helped him get back on his feet after Vanessa's death. Malachi inquired about the children and Marcus assured him that they were doing well in school. As they finished their meal, Malachi turned to the main reason for their meeting. "Marcus, did you know that Vanessa made additions to her will 2 weeks before she disappeared?" Malachi asked. "No, I don't. What kind of supplement?" "She left a sealed letter for you. The contents of the will remain unchanged, but she has included this letter. Since you already have a copy of the will, you may read this letter now if you wish." Marcus was confused. This was added just before the accident? "Yes, on March 29th, less than 3 weeks before she disappeared." "I don't know what's in the letter." "Let's go back to your office where I'm reading," Marcus suggested. Malachi agrees, and they finish lunch and return to the office. All the way there, they stayed silent. Back in his office, Malachi asked his secretary to leave them alone and close the door behind him. He sat down at the large cherrywood desk he had inherited from his father, looking like a seasoned lawyer. He pulled out a folder and placed it on the table and opened it. It contained the original will, a cream-colored envelope, and some other documents. "The contents have not changed since you and Vanessa made your will. You probably have a copy at home or in your safe," Malachi asked. "Yes, both places." "Very good. All that's left is this envelope. I don't know what's in there, so if you want to read it in private, I can get out." "Thanks," Marcus replied. As Malachi quietly leaves the room and closes the door, Marcus stares at the envelope with his name written on it in Vanessa's familiar handwriting. He hesitated, not sure he was ready to face what it might contain. But curiosity overcame him, and he carefully sliced open the envelope with Malachi's letter opener to find several pages of Vanessa's neat handwriting inside. As he began to read, he felt a tightening in his stomach. "Dear Marcus, by the time you read this, I'll be gone. I apologize for causing you pain, but I need to explain why. Earlier this year, I was diagnosed with ovarian cancer. My doctor was very honest about my chances of survival being 1 in 5. I made a selfish decision not to get treatment. I don't want to go through chemo, radiation, or the mercy of others. I chose to let the cancer run its natural course and end things on my own terms. I kept it a secret from you and everyone else. I don't want anyone to have any doubts. I've acted selfishly in other ways as well. Shortly before I was diagnosed with cancer, I began an affair. It's not with whom it matters, and you don't know him. I did it because I wanted some forbidden excitement. It's selfish and I regret it. I thought I could end it quickly, but things just kept going. Compare him to you. He's not better than you in every way. It wasn't even worth it, but I did it anyway, for myself. I've been trying to write this letter for weeks. I know I don't have much time left. You may have noticed some changes in me, but I can't go on like this. I love you, Marcus, even if I don't always show it. Please do not tell our children or my parents about this letter. When the autopsy results come back, they'll know how sick I was. You'll move on, Marcus. There's someone who loves you more than I do, and she would never hurt you the way I do. Lily has always loved you, from the beginning. With her, you will find true happiness. Take care of yourself and our sons. My love. Farewell. Vanessa. Marcus put the letter down, tears running down his cheeks. This letter answered all his questions. He could almost imagine Vanessa walking off the Mrs. Lynch and ending her suffering. He didn't know how long he sat there, overwhelmed by this confession, until a soft knock on the door interrupted his thoughts. Come in, Marcus said, wiping his eyes. Malachi walks in with a concerned look on his face. Are you okay? I don't know, Marcus replied, slumping in his chair. This letter, it's a confession. Vanessa has terminal cancer and plans to end her life. She never told anyone, but there's more. Marcus paused, then handed the letter to Malachi. Malachi read quietly, his eyes widening with each line of text. After reading it, he shook his head in disbelief and said, I never expected this. Malachi paused, then said, Marcus, I should tell you something too. 2 months after Vanessa disappeared, the police called me in for questioning. That's when I found out about her affair. They asked me if I knew the one she was related to. When I said I didn't know, they told me the man had admitted to the relationship and implied that I might be motivated to hurt her. I denied knowing anything about it at the time, Marcus said in shock. They let me go afterward, and I never heard from them again. You should have called me, Marcus. It puts you in a dangerous situation, Malachi said. I know, but I don't think they're going to charge me with anything, Marcus said. I wouldn't be so sure. Police sometimes take a long time to build cases. You need to take action now, Malachi said. What do I do? Marcus asked, now fully focused. I suggest we go to the police and show this letter. It suggests that Vanessa intended to kill herself, which would undermine their idea that you had any motive at all. Okay, Marcus agreed. I haven't heard from them in months, but I'll take your advice. Malachi arranged a meeting with officers Janich and Philippon at the police station. They produced the letter, along with a sample of Vanessa's handwriting. Upon review, the officers seemed to believe that Vanessa did plan her death due to her illness. An hour later, they left, confident that the case would soon be closed. Malachi promised to apply for a death certificate. Vanessa didn't have much to distribute in her will, mainly her jewelry, clothes, and cars. Marcus decides that Vernon will inherit the car, which he will use to commute to SFU University, and that the jewelry will be reserved for his son's future wives, except for a diamond pendant that Vanessa left to Lily, a piece of jewelry Lily had always admired. In a way, the letter gave Marcus a sense of relief. He understands why Vanessa chose to leave, even though he wishes she would have given him a chance to say goodbye. As for her affair, it will remain a secret between Marcus, the police, Malachi, and Lily. He didn't want her memory to be tainted by it. When Marcus got home, he called Lily. Can I come over? I have something to show you. Of course, Marcus. When are you arriving? She asked. In about half an hour, he said. I'll tell Mrs. Calderon I'm out for the evening. I'll prepare something for us to eat, Lily replied, her voice warm. As he said, half an hour later, Marcus pulled his Audi up in front of Lily's townhouse. As he approached the front door, it opened before he could knock, revealing a smiling Lily. Hi, honey, she greeted, wrapping her arms around his neck and kissing him deeply. Hi, he responded, when she let go of him. They sat together on the couch and exchanged a few more kisses before Marcus placed a cream-colored envelope on the coffee table. What is it? Lily asked curiously. I met with Malachi Wise today. Vanessa left this letter in her will to be opened after her death. She gave it to him a couple weeks before she disappeared. You should read it. Lily nodded, sensing the seriousness in Marcus' voice. He handed her the letter and went to pour 2 glasses of wine. When he returned, he saw that tears were streaming down Lily's cheeks. When she finished reading, she put the letter down and hugged Marcus tightly. I had no idea, she whispered. She hides everything so well. I know, she fooled us all. That explains what happened on the Mrs. Lynch that night. Lily wiped her eyes. My poor sister, hiding her condition. She's really a great actress. Now I need to be careful, cancer runs in families. I didn't think of that, Marcus admitted. Marcus, we can never tell my parents about the suicide or the affair. It will ruin them. I agree, Marcus said. And I won't tell the kids or my mom. They don't need to know. I'll put the letter in the safe, but if you'd rather I destroyed it, I can. I don't know, Lily said, her voice quivering. Let's just put it away for now and decide later. Okay, I'll store it up tomorrow, Marcus assured. Dinner was quiet that night. Later, they sat on the couch and half-heartedly watched TV, but both were distracted. Finally, Lily took Marcus' hand and led him toward the bedroom. They made love tenderly, and Marcus knew Lily needed comfort, not passion. He stayed that night, understanding that she needed his warmth and presence. The letter changed the way Lily felt about her sister. She could almost understand why Vanessa had acted that way, but the affair, which had begun before her diagnosis, still confused her. What surprised her most was that Vanessa accepted Lily's love for Marcus as if she didn't even know her sister. Later, as they lay in bed, Marcus whispered, Lily, I think it's time to tell the kids and our parents about us. I love you and want to marry you. Everyone should know. Lily smiled, touched by his words. I want that too. Tomorrow? Tomorrow, Marcus said, will be a new beginning for us. The next morning, Marcus woke up to sunlight pouring in through the curtains. Lily was still asleep beside him, her breathing steady and quiet. He got up carefully, not wanting to wake her, and walked gingerly to the kitchen to begin preparing breakfast. Lily walked in, rubbing her eyes as the aroma of coffee filled the room. Good morning, she said with a smile. That's sweet. You even made me breakfast. Marcus smiled back and handed her a cup of coffee. I think we needed a good start today. After all, it's a big day. They sat down for breakfast and discussed how they would announce their relationship to their families. It was decided to tell Marcus' sons first, then Lily's parents, and finally Marcus' mother. After breakfast, Marcus messaged Vernon and Tony, inviting them home for dinner tonight. Both boys were a little surprised, as midweek family dinners were not usually common, but they both agreed. Next, Lily called her parents and invited them over for lunch tomorrow. There was a hint of nervousness in her voice, but her parents didn't seem to notice and readily accepted. That evening, Marcus and Lily prepared dinner together, and the kitchen was filled with laughter. Just as they were bringing the last course to the table, the front door opened and Vernon and Tony walked in. Hey, Dad, Vernon said. It's nice that Aunt Lily's here, too. Marcus and Lily exchanged a look. Then Marcus said, Boys, before we start eating, Lily and I have something to tell you. Vernon and Tony sit down with puzzled looks on their faces. Marcus took a deep breath and said, You know, life hasn't been easy for all of us since your mom died. Lily has been so helpful, and she means so much to our family. He paused and glanced at Lily, who nodded encouragingly. The truth is, Marcus continued, Lily and I have changed our relationship over the past few months. We're in love, and we want to be together. The room was silent. Vernon and Tony looked a little shocked, but not totally surprised. Finally, Tony spoke up, Honestly, Dad, we've suspected it for some time. You look much happier than you used to. Vernon nodded in agreement. Yeah, and Aunt Lily has always been part of the family. It feels very natural. Marcus and Lily smiled at each other in relief. We're glad you guys understand, Lily said. I know I could never replace your mom, and I wouldn't try to. But I want us to be a family. We already are, Vernon said, standing up and giving Lily a hug. Tony followed suit and stood up, joining the hug. Dinner was served in a relaxed atmosphere. The boys asked questions about their relationship, and Marcus and Lily answered as honestly as they could while keeping some details private. The next day, when Lily's parents come over for lunch, The atmosphere is a little tense at first. Lily's mother, Elizabeth, noticed the unusual atmosphere as soon as she walked in the door. "Honey, did something happen?" she asked, her eyes scanning back and forth between Marcus and Lily. Lily took a deep breath and took Marcus' hand. "Mom, Dad, we have something to tell you." Her father, Robert, raised an eyebrow, but didn't say anything. "Marcus and I," Lily continued, "we're in love. We want to be together." Elizabeth and Robert looked at each other for a moment, not knowing what to say. "I know this may come as a surprise to you," Marcus said, "but I assure you that this is not an impulse. We thought deeply about it." Robert cleared his throat and finally spoke. "I can't say that I didn't see it coming at all. You two have always been close. But wouldn't that be too soon?" "Dad," Lily said, "I know it might look that way from the outside. But the truth is, I've loved Marcus for years. Vanessa knows this." "Vanessa knows?" Elizabeth asked in surprise. Marcus nodded. "Yes, she knows. As a matter of fact," he paused, pondering how to phrase it, before she left, she left me a letter. She wants me to be happy, and she thinks Lily can bring me happiness." Elizabeth's eyes filled with tears. "Oh, my poor daughter. She must be in pain." "Yes, she is," Lily said softly. "But she wants us all to move on with our lives and find happiness. That's what we're doing." Robert sighed deeply. "Well, if that's what Vanessa wants, if that makes you guys happy, then we support you." Elizabeth nodded her head in agreement, though there were still tears in her eyes. She stands up and gives Lily and Marcus a hug. "As long as you're happy, we're happy," she said. Lunch ended on a warm note. When Lily's parents leave, both Marcus and Lily feel relieved. The last person to inform is Marcus' mother. They decided to visit her the next day. Marcus' mother, Sarah, has always been a strong woman. She raised Marcus on her own after the death of his father and is now a major supporter of Vernon and Tony. When Marcus and Lily told her about their relationship, she was silent for a moment, then broke into a smile. "I've been wondering when you were going to tell me," she said. "I saw the way you were together and I knew what was happening." "Aren't you surprised, Mom?" Marcus asked. Sarah shook her head. "No, honey. I know Lily has always loved you. And since you've been with her, you seem happier than you have in months. That's what I was hoping for." Lily was moved to tears as Sarah stood up and hugged her. "Welcome to the family, dear," she said, "although you've always been one of us." Later that night, Marcus and Lily returned to Marcus's house. They sat on the back patio and watched the sun set. "It feels like a weight has been lifted from my shoulders," Lily said, leaning against Marcus' shoulder. Marcus nodded. "Yes, indeed. We no longer have to hide anything." "Do you think Vanessa will be happy for us?" Lily asked softly. Marcus thought for a moment, then said, "I think she will. In her letter, she said she wanted us to be together. I'm sure she means it." Lily looked up into Marcus' eyes. "I love you, Marcus. I promise I'll do everything I can to make you and the kids happy." Marcus lowered his head and kissed her. "I love you too, Lily. Together we make new memories, new happiness." Marcus and Lily snuggled together as night fell and the stars began to twinkle in the sky. They know that the road ahead may not always be smooth, but as long as they are together, they can overcome any obstacle. Life gives them a second chance to love and be happy. And this time, they were determined to hold on to it. In the gentle night air, Marcus whispered, "Tomorrow, let's go see the Mrs. Lynch. It's time to set sail again." Lily smiled and nodded. "New adventures, new beginnings? I can't wait." As the night wore on, Marcus and Lily sat and thought about their future. Though the shadows of the past remain, they can no longer hold them back. In their love for each other, they find the strength to heal and the courage to go on with their lives. Tomorrow, when the sun rises, will be the first day of their new lives. And this time, they will spend the rest of their lives hand in hand and write their own happy story together. Thank you for taking the time to listen to today's story. If you enjoyed it, please like and subscribe if you haven't already. If you have a story to share about your own or someone else's experience, please feel free to contact me. Take care.